In addition to reload while sprinting, you can also reload while sliding and reload while diving. That is a huge deal. Without Commando gloves or Overkill vest, you cannot reload while sprinting or diving.
So basically nothing cancels it other than like mantling on something. That's how it is.
Or weapon swapping, right.
Like you can start the reload and immediately dive after and it continues to reload. Whereas I think with any other gloves, well, I'm certain if you start a reload and then dive, it's going to cancel it.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that, for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We got a couple words. Why don't you kick it off, Tanner?
This is going to be a longer section than the first part you guys heard.
Change it, obviously, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are recording /live. Welcome to the Dropshot. We're not live, we're recording. Call of Duty podcast, Patreon bonus episode number 150. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by young Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're getting crazy. We're getting crazy and wild also. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And what we're doing, in fact, this fine afternoon, is recording a bonus episode for our Patreon. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Now, you might be listening to this, and you might not be a patron and wondering what's going on. So here's the deal. This week, Tanner's very, I would say, inconsiderate step grandpa died right when MWIII launched.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Rude and inconsiderate. Is it worse than his grandma dying while he was mid-scav raid?
Juicy scav raid too with PMC loot on interchange.
Yeah. See, that's a tough question. And perhaps we'll do an episode on that at another time.
That's worse. Yeah, that one's worse.
You think that one's worse?
Well, because you can never get that back. I can leave, go out of town, come back, and MW3 will still be there, right? I can still just play
That's a good point.
I can still just play the game, right? But that scav gear is literally gone. It's a timed raid, and I didn't have time to get out, so it's just gone, yeah. So that I'm quite literally never getting back, which is unfortunate. That's true.
So, yeah. We could get into why his grandparents and just old people in his life are as inconsiderate as they are, but that is not the subject of today's episode. The point here is that Tanner will be out of town going to the funeral or memorial or wake. How many things do we need to do when someone dies, by the way? Let's do one thing, not three. I don't know what a memorial or a wake is, by the way. I know what a funeral is.
I feel like a wake is a religious thing, like a Catholic thing, maybe?
It might be
I don't know.
A Catholic thing, because I know the Irish do wakes. I don't know what they are, but I know they do them.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's what they're
whatever.
saying.
He's going to go do something with that. So our schedule's kind of messed up for this week. So since Tanner's going to be out of town for quite a few days, that's why our schedule is different. We're recording this, by the way, on the 14th of November. We will be doing a news episode on Wednesday the 15th rather than on Thursday. And then on Saturday, Tanner will still be out of town. So we are going to have this episode released to the public, a Patreon episode. Patreon gone public is what we call it.
We're so nice. God, it's
and
annoying.
we're nice, charitable, just giving things away. And that's what we're doing. So, if you're new here and you were maybe considering the Patreon, or if you missed the free trial period, you can listen to this episode and get a taste for what our Patreon bonus episodes are like. This is a very standard type of episode, because what we're going to be doing today is talking about a multiplayer brainstorm. And these are, yeah, we've done like maybe 24 of these, maybe more. We do brainstorms all the time where we kind of sit down and talk about what's the best weapon, what are the best attachments, what are the best perks, blah, blah, blah. We really get into the weeds more on Patreon with our bonus episodes than we do with our public episodes, which are generally broader overviews of things. So if you kind of like that, getting into the nitty and doing the gritty,
and
then,
the gritty, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, then this is what. Then you'll enjoy the Patreon, because that's kind of what the bonus episodes are for. So yeah, this already went live to our patrons. If you're a patron, you may have already heard this, and if you're not, it just came later. For patrons, it went up on Wednesday, and for you patron or non-patrons, you guys are hearing this on Saturday. So there you go. So yeah, that's the deal. That's why we're doing this. Now, one other quick announcement before we get into it. Our next Patreon bonus episode, which will not be going live publicly, so you're going to have to be a patron to listen to the next one. Yeah. Is probably going to be a preliminary camo grind tips episode. I know a lot of you, first of all, in our Discord and on Twitter, there is a lot of excitement around MW3 multiplayer. And I would say for good reason. I'm having a lot of fun. Tanner's having a lot of fun. Most of the people on our Discord are having a lot of fun. There are some detractors, but by and large, the sentiment is good around this game. And a lot of you are going for the mastery camo, the multiplayer mastery camo, as are we. So one thing we think might be useful to you guys, to those of you doing that, is an early camo grind tips episode. So that's probably what we're going to be doing next for Patreon. Now, obviously, there are people who have already gotten Interstellar, and I think like Metaphor is one of them. He's made a video on camo grind tips and stuff, and he's finished it. So we've watched, or Tanner's watched that. I will be watching it before we do that next episode. And we'll give you the details on that, but we'll also get into other things too that I'm sure he didn't cover, like which guns you should do first, what guns you can expect to change, because he's already done. So, you know, there are a lot of other things that he wouldn't have covered. Like, for example, probably just don't do the launcher yet, because they're going to make it easier. So we're not going to give you tips necessarily on how to do the launcher challenges. We're going to give you a better tip, which is don't do them yet, because most of you are not even close to done. You have plenty of time. You're not losing time. Grind other things while you wait. And then when they inevitably add a new launcher or other weapon that's easier to get gold on, and then you can still get Interstellar without doing the launcher at all, do that. Or wait until they lower the number of equipment you need to kill with it or something.
Yeah.
So things like that are going to fold into that episode that I don't think you're really going to get anywhere else. It's a camo grind episode for functioning human beings that are not, you know, playing 16 hours a day and unlocking it in like 2 days. So
yeah, because remember there's been rumored to be a new gun coming out before season 1. Because the way this game works, you don't have to do the launcher, right? You just have to do one other gun. So you could just totally ignore the launcher.
Speculating.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what people are speculating.
The in-game description says you unlock Interstellar if you have 37 guns priceless.
Which MW2 was the same way.
Priceless.
So as they added guns to MW2, you could just skip all the launchers. Yeah, because people did that. People would do like one launcher or something like that. That was a common thing. So that should be how this game works too. So yeah, probably just don't even do it, to be honest. I got mine. Mine's gold now. But yeah, because it's only procs mines and claymores. Literally nothing else works. If it did like munitions boxes and it was 25, that'd be fine. So I feel like that's not how it's supposed to be working. I think they'll change that.
Yeah.
It should include field upgrades.
Right. So things like that, you're not going to get those tips anywhere else, really. So We have some traditional ones like here's how to do easy, whatever. But yeah, that's probably, anyway, the point is that's probably going to be our next bonus episode. Because I think you guys have enjoyed that a lot in the past, and a lot of you have been asking for it actually. So we'll do that for our next Patreon bonus episode. But now let's get into the topic of this episode, which is a multiplayer brainstorm. So for those of you who've never heard one of these before, once again, basically what we do for these brainstorms, we do this for Warzone, we do it for multiplayer. I think we've done it for zombies once or twice too. Today we're doing it for multiplayer, and basically the goal is to talk about the perks, the guns, the attachments, pretty much everything, kill streaks even, and excuse me, what will work best for you, for anyone in general, to do well, and why. And usually in these brainstorms, I would say more than 50% of the time, through the course of doing them, we come up with like new ideas while we're doing it. Like it's not in the notes. We're just like, oh yeah, I didn't look this closely at this thing before. So these are really fun for me. I really enjoy doing these. And I think they provide a lot of utility. So if you're kind of like confused on the perk system, don't know what's going on, or just haven't thought that deeply about it yet, allow us to think deeply about it for you. So one thing I will say, by the way, is that if you wanted to look at all the perks in this game, but you don't want to have to open the game, maybe you're at work or something, there doesn't exist a website that shows all the MW3 perks and is accurate. Which is insane to me, because there are so many of these little video game websites. None of them, we looked, none of them exist that show all the perks and everything that they do. So there will be websites that like list the vests and give you a description. Maybe the description's accurate, but it doesn't tell you what, like if you lose a gear slot or if you lose a field upgrade slot. None of them do it, which is insane. So I got frustrated and I said, I'll do it myself. So if you go to our Discord, go to multiplayer general, I pinned a message in that channel, so you can look at the pinned messages. And I created 4 imager, whatever, albums with literal screenshots in game of every single perk, every vest, glove, boot, and gear. So it is the in-game name, description, and in the vests, it'll also show you on the bottom what perks you, or tacticals or lethals or field upgrades you gain or lose with those vests, which you can't find anywhere else on the internet except in the video game. So if you want to look at all those, join the Discord, multiplayer general, look at the pinned messages. You're welcome. And I'm going to be using that today. That's mainly why I made it. That's only why I made it, actually, but it'll be nice to have. So now you guys have it. Okay, so let's get into this. I will also say we're not going to be talking about weapons too much yet. Normally in a brainstorm, we talk about weapons a lot. What weapons are best to use, what attachments are best to use. We're going to get a little bit into some of the weapons, but we haven't used all the weapons yet. The game's still a little too early to be getting into that, I would say. We are going to talk about some weapons that stand out for being very good or very bad, but we just don't have experience using most of them. Because we've been doing the camo grind and we've both been going down the same list. So we've used all the ARs. We've used all the battle rifles. That's it. Tanner's used all the melee weapons. We'll get into that a little bit.
Sure have.
So we have some more to say, but besides that, we're not going to be talking too much. We're not going to be talking as much about weapons as we normally would if this were like 6 months after the game, because we just don't know what they all do, really. So, and then before we get into that, also a couple of PSAs that relate to multiplayer. These are in no particular order, just thought I would point them out. Just some quick little pro tips. Decoy grenades. So this was the strat in MW19 and MW2, was if you wanted to level up your weapon and get extra weapon XP, use decoy grenades as your tactical and just throw them every life. And that's like that tactical will provide you with the most weapon XP of any tactical in the game. For this game, that's probably actually still true, but the amount of XP is so negligible, in my opinion, that I'd rather just use stims so I stay alive longer and shoot my gun more and level it up that way. And therefore, I think stims is actually probably going to net me more weapon XP per match than using decoys. Not because stims give me any weapon XP itself, but they keep me alive way longer, so I spend less time respawning and running back to the action.
Yeah.
That's been my experience, because decoys in this game, first of all, we don't have shipment 24/7. So if we had shipment, I would probably change my position on this, because you throw a decoy literally anywhere, and you're going to get a bunch of distraction assists and weapon XP that way. But there is no shipment right now. So there were times like I used it and just threw a decoy grenade and got no weapon XP for it. It didn't get a distract assist or whatever. And then also when it does give you the distraction thing, it gives you 10 XP as opposed to it was like 30 in MW2. So it's also a third less even if you are getting the distract. I don't think they're worth using for weapon XP. So if you're like spending armory tokens on it, I would probably say skip it and do something else for now. And I would say just use stims. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I don't use anything. I'm not able to, but yeah. Stuns too. Stuns are busted.
Stuns are really good. Yeah. Stuns will get you kills. Yeah. So another thing is the overkill vest. So there's a vest called the overkill vest. Tanner and I were very confused about this because it has the overkill icon, but nowhere in the description does it say it lets you use 2 primaries.
And it never said that in the blog post before the game came out that we had talked about. We're like, well, we're assuming it's overkill, right? But there's already another gunner vest, which says in the description you can carry 2 primaries.
You know what? It kind of does say it.
Does it?
So look at the CCT comms vest. Look at the SVA in the top left that says primary. And then on the core 45, it says secondary. And then go to the overkill vest, and both weapon slots say primary/secondary.
Oh, well, I know it says it there. Yeah, I'm just talking about in the actual description of the vest. I guess gunner vest doesn't say it
there?
either.
You noticed that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yes. I've never used the vest. That's the only reason I did know. That's like the first thing I looked at when I launched the game when I got it unlocked, because we had talked about all that. I guess the gunner vest doesn't say it either. Yeah, they had just said in one of the blog posts that the gunner vest you could equip 2 primaries, and then when they talked about the overkill vest before the game came out, they never mentioned you can carry 2 primaries or 2 secondaries until like the game came out or something. That's what we had talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, anyway, so for those of you who didn't know that, because I didn't until I used it, the overkill vest and the gunner vest both allow you to run 2 primaries or 2 secondaries, or 1 primary and 1 secondary.
Yeah.
So if you were interested in doing that, in addition to all the other benefits it gives, which we'll get into. Next little random PSA. There is an ammo type in this game called hollow point. It's available on, I think, every gun I've looked.
I think every gun has hollow point, yeah.
Which is unfortunate. And the in-game description says, hollow point rounds deform on impact, slowing the target and disabling sprint for a short time when hitting the target's legs. Maybe it also does that, but the biggest thing it does is it gives you a tremendous amount of bullet flinch when you get hit by it. And it makes it it makes it so you will not win a gunfight against someone using them.
It's like it does.
If you're like heads up gunfighting.
It's like it combines every bullet type in its bug. It like gives you flinch. There's a crippling effect. It also probably makes it so your health doesn't regen as quickly. Like I swear it's just doing what every ammo type does. Because like I noticed it the first day of launch because I got hit by something one time and I was like, oh my god, what did I just get shot by? And then I look and it said hollow point. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I was going to be busted. Continue to die to that guy for the rest of the match. starting to see more and more people running them now. Yesterday, I ran into a couple people using them. You tell immediately when you get shot. I'm like, that guy's running hollow point. Like, there's not a doubt in your mind. The first bullet you get hit by, you immediately know he's running hollow point. It's very, very good. It needs a huge nerf. It's overpowered is what it is. So as people start to get to their SMGs, a lot of people you can tell are just going down the list for camos. You don't see that many SMGs yet. Everybody just runs assault rifles. So as more people get to the SMGs, like me, for example, I haven't touched any SMGs. I will be using this on every build, and it will become very toxic, I think. So yeah, it's busted, man. The people on our Discord were like, oh, are you sure you're not talking about like this ammo type that increases flinch? Nope. Every time it's happened, I look and it's hollow point every single time.
Yeah, and I didn't believe him at first either, but then I started looking at kill cams. It is in fact hollow point. Yeah. So a couple things. If you want to give enemies flinch and you've been using the other ammo type, I don't know what it's called, that says it gives the enemy flinch when they get hit by bullets, that's cool. Use hollow point instead though, because the downsides on whatever that ammo type are bad. I don't know what they are. I think they're like damage range and velocity though. They're really bad. So if you want to give enemies flinch, use hollow point instead, because even though it doesn't say it does, it also does that a lot. And the only downside on every gun we checked, so we checked SMGs, we checked LMGs, I think we checked ARs as well. The downside of using hollow point rounds is only you lose bullet pen. And that is not a big downside in multiplayer at all. I'm not wallbanging people much ever. The only time I'm going to be wallbanging people is for the camos. So that downside is nothing. So really the only downside of running hollow point on any gun, in my opinion, not just SMGs, I think it's worth it on every gun that you can afford the attachment slot on. That's the big downside, is you're giving up another attachment just to give flinch to the enemy. That may or may not be worth it for you, depending on the gun you're using and how many attachments it may or may not need. I would say it probably is better on SMGs, because, well, yeah, I don't know. I think it's good on a bunch of guns. I run it every time I have the
It would be good on everything, yeah. I don't think, since all I'm doing is camo grinding, and it's so easy to do most of it, I don't know if I put 5 attachments on a single gun yet. I'm not kidding. So I usually get the guns their max level, and then I'm like not even paying attention. I'm like, oh, I have 2 attachments on this. Like the MTZ, the whole time I've been using that, I have a stock on it and an optic, and that's it. And it feels fine. So I'm like, I don't even want to put any more attachments on it. I don't care. It's overwhelming looking at the amount of muzzle devices. The gun feels good as it is. I'm not going to put one of these on it, so I just don't. So that would be like a guaranteed take for me. I need to start throwing that on every class I run. It's probably just better on SMGs, I guess, because the fire rate in general. You're flinching a lot more, getting hit by bullets more often.
That's a good point. Yeah. And then another obvious point, I guess, is that besides snipers, don't put it on a sniper, obviously. It's not going to help you there. But yeah, every other gun, it's really good. And then last little PSA is the zombie extract strat. So we talked about this. We informed a lot of people on TikTok, in fact, because we're viral, on the cutting edge of technology, thriving small business owners. Borpa Business we were talking about the zombie extract strat. So if you find a gun that takes 8 armory tokens to unlock in zombies and you extract with it, you've unlocked it, just like how it worked for DMZ last year. So you can just circumvent all of those armory challenges and do something else. We've learned a couple things about that. Number 1, it only works for weapons, tacticals, and lethals. It does not work for kill streaks. I confirmed that because I found a Juggernaut kill streak in zombies. I had it equipped. I extracted. I did not unlock Juggernaut for multiplayer. So you still have to go through the armory for all the kill streaks. And it doesn't work for field upgrades because there are no field upgrades in zombies. There are, but they're like healing burst, healing aura and like frenzied guard and those things. So won't work for field upgrades, won't work for kill streaks. We weren't sure about that. And then also you have to have the thing equipped that you want to unlock. So you can't unlock 5 different types of lethals. You can only unlock one at a time. It has to be equipped on your character. So you have to be able to throw it. So like I found a drill charge and a breacher drone in one match, and both of those I had not unlocked yet. I had drill charge equipped. I had breacher drone in my backpack. I unlocked drill charge. I did not unlock breacher drone. So make sure it's equipped and make sure you also don't throw it or use it, because you have to have one like on your character for the unlock to work. Same for tacticals, and ostensibly same for weapons. I didn't actually test that because we never found a large rucksack, but I would assume you have to have the weapon equipped as well, since that's how it works for tacticals and lethals. But yeah, you are safe to spend your tokens on field upgrades and kill streaks. I would still recommend you do perks first. So yeah. And then aftermarket parts, I also said you should spend tokens on that. I think eventually you should, but you don't unlock aftermarket parts until you get a weapon max level and then do a challenge, and then you can use an aftermarket part on it. I don't know if that's true for every aftermarket part, but it's true for 2 that I looked at. I would assume it's true for everyone.
Yeah.
Or conversion kit anyway. I don't know about aftermarket part, because I know there are aftermarket optics. I don't think you'd have to get the weapon max level to use those. But I think for aftermarket conversion kits, I think you would probably have to do that. So just another little PSA there. But yeah, use the zombie extract strat. It's faster walking around in zombies for 20 minutes, looking at wall buys and hitting the mystery box to get a weapon you haven't unlocked yet. That might sound tedious and slow. That's still faster than winning 8 matches of multiplayer, trust me.
Yeah, I mean, so I think I had 9 or 10 guns to unlock in zombies, and then between tacticals and lethals, I probably had 6 maybe. So, I mean, you're talking like 16 different unlocks. How many in-game hours of zombies do you think that took us to unlock? Like
2?
2? That's about, yeah, about 2. So 2 hours to unlock that many items. That's like actually, if you just did those all between dailies and then winning matches, I mean, that's a lot of games.
That's like 7-8 hours, actually, probably.
And then you'll have days too where you get your dailies done and then you won't win a game the rest of the day. If you play solo or something, or you play with friends who are really bad, like you're not unlocking anything that way. So zombies, you can just go in solo and easily survive. I did a few solo raids to just go in, look for something.
Yeah, it's easy.
Extract with it.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You just stay in the outside zone, the easy zone.
I would also recommend you guys do it sooner rather than later, because, you know, if you have 6 lethals you need to unlock and 12 weapons, odds are you're going to find 2 weapons you don't have and a lethal you don't have. If you only have like 1 weapon left and then 1 lethal, well, now it's like you're looking at a wall buy with the potential of, there are a lot of MW2 guns and zombies also, by the way. So the odds now of you finding the 1 weapon you need to unlock are very low. So we did end up spending our armory tokens on guns toward the end, because when you only need 2 guns, it's unlikely you're going to find it in zombies. But if you need 12, it's very likely you're going to find one you haven't unlocked yet. So do it while you have a lot of guns to do. And then once it gets like down to like 3 or 2, at that point, yeah, the armory system's probably faster.
Yeah. Than
like looking at every wall buy. Because again, on the walls and in the mystery box and on enemies, you can also find MW2 guns. So the odds of you getting the 1 gun from MW3 you haven't unlocked between MW2 and MW3 guns is 1 in like 150, or like 120 or something. it's really low. So yeah, at that point, do it that way.
And
but
then
if
also,
you have a lot,
of course,
do the zombie strap.
your friends can just drop you the gun or the lethals or
That
the tacticals.
too.
You can go in naked. Your friend can drop you 2 guns, a tactical and a lethal that you don't have, and boom, all 4 things would be unlocked in one exfil. And you can do that in exfil within, I mean, if you spawn like close to a chopper, actually within 3 minutes, but realistically like 7 minutes or so, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, Tanner and I did that also. So if you have like even one friend, because like Tanner might get, you know, the Sidewinder out of a mystery box, and I might get like the Striker 9, and he doesn't have the Striker yet. I don't have the whatever gun I used yet. We'll take those out, and then the next raid we'll just bring those in, drop them for our teammate. Boom, we've unlocked those. That also makes it a lot faster. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. All right, so now we'll get into a couple of standout weapons. So again, mainly what I want to focus on for this episode is going to be perks, but we will talk a little bit about weapons. As I said, we haven't used them all yet. This is not a definitive, guide on the best guns in the game or anything, but this is a pretty good idea of what's very good right now in multiplayer, based on quite a few in-game hours we've both played already. And this is for core, obviously. So a couple of standout guns for ARs. The Holger 5.56. This is the first gun. This is the first thing, I think, to be GA'd out of the CDL this year because it's overpowered, I suppose. I'm going to be honest. I did get this max level. It felt good to me. It didn't really feel overpowered. That's probably because I didn't know why it was overpowered, and I guess that's because you can get like a 3-shot kill with it.
Yeah.
If you sprinkle in a little heady.
If you get a headshot, it's a 3-shot kill, and I don't know if any other AR can do that. I think they're all 4 kills, 4 shots at the most.
Even with a headshot sprinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like it was banned from their scrims and all like little online tournaments within like actually 8 hours of the game launching globally.
Yeah.
It was probably GA'd before the game actually technically launched globally because of the whole fiasco, how everyone played early. So it was GA'd before the game launched. Yeah, it's busted OP. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're like not camo grinding and you're just looking for good guns to use, that's kind of what we're going to talk about now, and some things to avoid. One thing to avoid. Next is the DG58. So this is a burst AR. There are 2 burst fire guns in this game. One is the DG58, one is the FAMAS, the FR556. And Tanner has said the DG58 is quite good. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it's a burst gun, of course. So 3-round burst. I feel like even at default, but definitely with attachments, between the bursts, there's no recoil, and you can also burst it really quick. It has a very fast fire rate. There's not a delay between the bursts like at all. So it almost ends up being automatic. You just have to click more often, of course. So like honestly, you just need an optic, and it's really, really clean. It's easy to hit headshots with because of the low recoil. So like you could put your reticle on somebody's dumb head and get 3 headshots on his head easily. So it's fast fire rate, really, really good. Just fun too. It's fun to have 2 good burst weapons in this game, because like the launch of MWIII, M16 was, I mean, it had to have been the worst gun in the game, right? I think it was. It ended up getting buffed like actually 4 times throughout the game's life cycle. So it was probably usable at some point, but on launch, like it was definitely the worst primary in the game. This year, it's a complete opposite. DG58 is one of the best assault rifles, and even the FR556 is really good. It actually feels pretty dang similar. I feel like maybe a little bit more recoil, a little bit more bullet spread on it or something. DG just feels better. You'll know if you use both of them. It feels like it's easier to hit your shots or something. But yeah, it's great having 2 fun burst weapons in multiplayer.
I think part of the reason that they're actually viable in this game too is the longer time to kill, because you have like in MW2, if you missed a burst and then you also have to incur a burst delay when the time to kill is like actually 100 milliseconds, it's just too unforgiving. But in this game, there is enough time for you to get 2 bursts off in a lot of gunfights. So even if you do like miss a bullet in a burst, or 2 bullets in a burst even, you're still in it. Whereas in MW2 you just wouldn't be. You would have been shot by a full auto gun too many times by now. I'll add though that it is still a burst gun, and it's still not the easiest thing to use. So I think it is very good, but it's still on the higher end of the skill gap kind of gun, where if you're not good or comfortable with burst fire guns, this is not going to make you play better. It's in fact going to make you play worse. I would say stick to something 100%. Full auto.
Yeah.
But if you're an above average player, you don't have to be insane or anything, but just above average, then you could definitely do really well with it, which is nice. Good. We want skill gap guns that are really good, but only if you are good, and I'd say the DG is one of those.
Yeah.
And then another standout gun, this has been known since the beta, I think it's still true, is the MCW. Just a no recoil AR that has a fine time to kill. And again, with the slower TTK in this game, the longer TTK in this game, having a gun that's easy to not miss a bullet on is very good, because there are a lot of other full auto guns in this game that have a faster TTK on paper than the MCW, but using those guns is a lot harder to do because they have more recoil. So if I'm going up against a boss B, and that has a way faster TTK, but it's way easier to miss bullets with it too. So if I'm fighting someone with a boss B and they miss 2 of their bullets, and I'm using an MCW, and because it has no recoil, I miss none of my bullets. Mm-hmm. Well, my actual TTK is faster, and I win. So low recoil guns are really good when the TTK is slower, because you need more bullets to land to get a kill, and it's very easy to land bullets with this gun. And that is especially true once you get to longer sight lines, which there are plenty of in this game on 6's maps. There are a lot of very long. You get a lot of
long shots. I notice. You're right. Just not even trying to. I get long shots all the time.
Yeah. And that's again where a low recoil gun is going to be really good for you, because like someone might be using something with an insane TTK but a lot of recoil. They're missing most of their shots. You're not missing any. You win.
Yeah.
I do really well with the MCW. It's really fun.
It was just boring to me. That and the MTZ felt like the same. I know this is what the CDL is using right now. This is probably going to be the AR they run all year long. It just like the reasons you're explaining you like it, no recoil, it just like seemed so boring to me. Like it was honestly like the least interesting assault rifle, because like the SVA is kind of interesting because it's like the burst fire. The DG and FR 5.56 are burst guns that are also good. The Holger 5.56 is just busted, so it's fun. And then the MCW and the MTZ just kind of exist for me. They were just like, I don't know, very boring to use. But that's kind of what the CDL usually is. They never use like the most broken, overpowered gun. They use like a gun below that. That's just, that's a good way to put it, reliable. Like TAC 56 wasn't the most broken AR in MW2, but it was the most reliable. It wasn't GA'd. It was balanced enough for them to use that. So I honestly don't even remember using the MCW. It's just like forgettable and boring. But this will probably be I bet one of the Warzone guns.
Yeah.
One of the Warzone meta guns, because I think it has a 60 round mag too.
Yes, it does. Yeah, for sure this will be a Warzone gun.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's so easy to land bullets.
It'll be the Kilo probably.
It's actually going to be like the new Kilo, So anyway, a couple other standout guns. Again, this is not meant to be exhaustive, so if we missed your pet gun, chill out. We haven't used them all. But a couple standouts. Battle rifles. First is the Sidewinder, don't use it. You know what? I wish I had thought of this sooner. I think I would rather get the launcher priceless than the Sidewinder.
Well, I don't know I wouldn't go that far.
I might. It's really.
Have you used the launcher yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah. You end up getting 5 hit markers on some guy. It's not great, which is good, but it's not great.
So the Sidewinder is the worst weapon in the game for sure. I haven't used every gun in the game. It doesn't matter. I still know the Sidewinder is the worst because there can't be a worse gun.
Hopefully.
It's a full auto BR that is it can be a 2-shot kill if you land a headshot. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like it has to be 2 headshots. Probably 2 headshots is a...
I don't think so. I think you need like an upper torso 1 headshot. I feel like I've gotten a lot of cheesy kills with it. When I get very lucky, though.
Yeah, I mean, you miss 10 shots and then you accidentally hit 2 and then the guy's dead. Yeah. Hey, it's great if you end up hitting somebody for sure.
Yeah.
If you can manage to do that, yeah, it's pretty good.
The problem with it is on the slower end of handling, and it's on the slowest end of rounds per minute.
It is slow, man. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Man, what would the RPM be? So what's the RPM on?
I'm launching the game to look because I want to look at the damage values on it as well.
Okay. Yeah. The RPM must be like 300. Like it's so
trying to
slow.
Yeah.
So if you miss a bullet, you're going to lose the gunfight if they're looking at you. Yeah.
Like what is an average AR? Like 5 to 600 in there probably?
I would say like 600. Yeah. Right.
All right. Yeah. We're going to take a peek. Just got the game open. I had update required.
My guess is it's 350 RPM. That's my guess.
All right. Here we go.
And for context, an M4 is like 630, I think.
Come on. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just going to look at the MTZ because I already have that pulled up. So the MTZ is
the most basic AR in the game. What's that?
I'm talking about the battle rifle version. Sorry, the MTZ 762 is 540 rounds per minute, and this is the
Sidewinder. Okay.
Yeah, and so next we're gonna look at the Sidewinder. Here we go. You know what I don't like about the stats is you have to like go to a specific attachment to look at them.
Yeah,
375.
Oh, there you go.
And so it does 84 headshot damage. So that's a 2-shot headshot, right? That would be a 2-shot headshot.
Definitely a 2-shot headshot. How much is like chest?
60. So no, you have to get 2 headshots to 2-tap someone.
60 flat?
Yeah.
So 84 plus 60. Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually a 3-shot kill. Well, it's always going to be a 3-shot kill. It can be a 2-shot. Yeah. Yeah, that's lower than I thought it would be. So, for example, if everyone's really used the MCW, which is the ACR in this game, the fire rate on the ACR is 714. Yeah, so this is 375. It's not great.
It's half as slow as the MCW, which is not a particularly fast fire rate AR.
Yeah, it feels like a standard AR, yeah. So it's got a miserable fire rate, yeah.
It's the worst gun in the game, for sure. Don't use it.
I hear a lot of the SMGs are also really bad. Yeah, so hopefully this ends up being the worst gun. It's far and away the worst gun I've used so far. I've done all the ARs and I've used all the BRs, and it's for sure the worst. I mean, like, unironically, I would rather use a Core 45 pistol, which has a faster time to kill than the Sidewinder. I'm 100% sure. I'm 100% sure it does. It's that bad. Yeah, it's dog shit.
It's really bad. Come on, man.
Our last one ended up being okay, by the way, and we dropped
it was okay.
a few
Fs, I think you're right. I think we dropped 2, 1.5, maybe.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But I guess it went through. Anyway. It's horrible. Yeah, and also it has 28 levels. That's the worst part of it. So most of the guns in this game are like 18 weapon levels.
Well,
for whatever reason, the worst gun has the most weapon levels also. So to get it max level, and therefore priceless, you have to get it level 28. That's another reason it's so frustrating. I felt like I was using it forever. Because you also get like no weapon XP. Because you're not killing anyone. You're just dying with it in your hands, and you don't get weapon XP for that. Because it's not good.
People, you'll be fine.
It's not good and it's bad. So yeah, just don't stay away from that gun. And it's also 8 unlock tokens, I'm pretty sure, to unlock.
Yes.
So
definitely do that in zombies. Do
that.
not try to unlock this through the armory unlocks. Yeah, or through multiplayer. You will not have fun at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth doing for sure. So anyways. Yeah. The other two BRs though, very good. The Boss B, I quite enjoyed. It is another battle rifle. All the battle rifles, by the way, can be used full auto, and they are full auto by default. One question Tanner and I had that we did not find the answer to, and if any of you know the answer, let us know, is if this game is like MWIII, where if we changed the Sidewinder to semi-auto, if each bullet would do more damage. I'm inclined to think it does not work that way.
That's what I'm thinking, because I tried it in semi-auto sometimes to see if it seemed to kill in a bullet quicker, and I never noticed it.
Yeah.
So I think they went away with that, which is great. That shouldn't exist.
Which is
anyways.
good. It shouldn't
There's
work
no
that way,
reason for that to be the case. Yeah.
But we're not positive. So.
Yeah, Basby really, really fun. Solid gun.
But yeah, the Basby is very good. Fine fire rate, not particularly fast, but like good damage.
It's good for I feel like for a BR.
For a BR, it's pretty good, I guess. Yeah. And then the other BR, I think this one is just better than the Boss B, in my opinion, is the MTZ. What is it? 6.8?
7.62.
Right, and that's what I said. This is, I think, the best BR. Because it has a faster fire rate than the Boss B, it feels like. And also a lot of damage. Now, keep in mind, I got my Sidewinder max level, and the next game I used the MTZ. So it also could be, and anything would probably feel like overpowered and the best gun in the game compared to the Sidewinder. That unironically might be why I think the MTZ is so good.
Yeah.
But it does feel really, really solid. It, to me, I think is better than the Boss B. I feel like I do better with it than the Boss B because I feel like it has a faster fire rate and very similar. I feel like
damage. They just seem to be similar guns in general. So again, if you're not going for the camo grind, but you're kind of casually playing the game and you're focusing on Warzone more, if you're going to level up one gun from the BR category, definitely make sure it's the Boss B because that has a 40-round extended mag. So this could end up being a meta gun in Warzone. MTZ will not, simply because there's only a 30-round mag. Sidewinder will. They can just take it out of the game, actually, and no one would notice. So definitely, though, focus on the Bass B.
Use your fists instead.
Yeah. If you do one BR, make it the Bass B if you're planning on playing Warzone.
That's a good point. I didn't realize the extended mag thing.
And I've noticed that with a lot of guns this year. It seems like they've done bigger mags for quite a few of them, where last year we had so many guns with small mags. Actually, I haven't looked at SMGs. I wonder how the SMGs are looking. Because like the MX9 and MW2, great gun, no one ran it because I had a 32-round mag. So I'm hoping most of the SMGs have like a minimum of 40.
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't know yet. So anyway, a couple other standouts: the knife / karambit. I'll ask you: does the karambit perform any differently, or is it just
no? It's just
cosmetic?
reskin. It's I think one's called the gutter knife, and then it's the karambit. They're both. Yeah. The knife is the best gun in the game. Yeah, with 150 health, lunge, and a one-hit kill,
and covert sneakers.
I don't even run covert sneakers, but it is the best close range weapon by a mile. I mean, I can't tell you. I've gone on higher kill streaks with a knife than I have with a gun in this game. It's so crazy. You run into a building, slide, knife some guy. His teammate's right behind him. It doesn't matter. You slide again. You knife him. There's another guy behind you. You're facing the opposite direction. You press the knife button. Your character model turns around, and he also knifes him from 12 feet away. It's so good. It's very fun. more people are, I think, starting to realize how good it is. Because I got both of them platinum, and I had seen like one person ever use a knife. And then yesterday I was playing, and there were quite a few people knifing finally. Like it's actually a really good secondary to have. So the challenges are simple as well. And there are only 6 levels in this game. Unlike MW2, a lot of those, like Riot Shield and doing a lot of those awful weapons, there were like 10, 12, and higher, I think, levels on it. This is level 6, and it's really good. So it's really easy to do the camo challenges, thankfully. But yeah, they're just so much fun, man. I strongly recommend you using them. Yeah, and then moving on. SMG. So I don't think either of us have really used SMGs yet. I have not built a custom SMG once, but I've seen stats. The Rival 9 is 100% the best SMG, time to kill wise. I want to say it's got a time to kill of like 220 milliseconds or something, and like the next closest MW3 SMG was like 260 maybe. I'll see if I can find the chart. I know someone did a test, but basically that one's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. So I literally have not touched an SMG in this game. I don't think I've had one equipped ever. Maybe once or twice, but yeah, I haven't used them at all. And I will add, yeah, haven't really died to them that much either. And I don't know if that's because they're not good or because people like us are doing camo grind things and kind of going down the list. Hard to say. I will add, though, I've seen on Twitter people saying, well, not people. I saw one tweet, but it had a lot of engagement from someone, I don't remember who, that this is like an AR game and SMGs just aren't going to be good in this game.
I saw CDL kids talking about that. Yeah. Yep.
So maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But with how little I've seen it and that tweet and a lot of comments agreeing with it under it, I'm inclined to kind of believe that. I'll still say, though, I'd rather have an SMG on Skid Row. Well, I mean, there are long sight lines on Skid Row, I guess. But if you wanted to play in the building, like on Skid Row, I'd way rather have an SMG still than an AR. Even if, in general, ARs are ultimately better, SMGs, I think, do have a place in this game. I don't think they're, like, useless. But they're also not MW19 good, where you can just use an SMG on ground war maps and win heads-up gunfights against ARs at 40 meters. Yeah. And that's a good thing.
You can use an MP7 and kill people across the map at the same time to kill than their AR does. Yeah. So I found the chart. It's not as good. It's not as good as I thought it was, but everyone seems to be saying it's the best SMG. So the Swarm has the fastest time to kill by a lot, but its max damage range is shotgun distance. It's 4.6 meters.
Oh, wow.
And it kills at 230 milliseconds. So the closest comparison is the Rival 9 is essentially the ISO 45 with a 1 meter further max damage range. So this will probably also be the SMG for Warzone if things pretty much directly translate.
Right. Yeah. So also quickly on the knife point. Yeah, it's really good. I haven't used them much, but I did have a daily to get 5 operator melee kills. So I switched to my knife after I had finished another daily. And in one life, I think I got 7 kills in like 4 seconds. And then I was done. So then I stopped using it. I was like, oh, wow, yeah, it's really good.
Dude, like so many times people hit me 3 times up close, and it doesn't matter because their gun is a 4 or 5 shot to kill. I have so much time to get in there and stab them. Yeah.
And with the movement in this game, with the increased time to kill, it's very, very good. Tanner and I both had the same fun and exciting experience. We were both using the Sidewinder in the war mode. And there was a guy on the other team sniping, and he wasn't very good at sniping. Didn't matter. Because we would be shooting him with a Sidewinder, hit him once or twice, and he would miss a snipe on us, and then just switch to his knife, run up to us, and stab us.
Yeah, that was good.
The same guy did it to both of us in the same match.
Yeah.
Because we were, in part because we were using the Sidewinder, to be clear, but that's how good a knife is. Yeah, they're really good. So, something to keep in mind.
Yeah, man, they're pretty good. God, it's so fun to use. I'm pissed I got them platinum already. It's so annoying being as good as me. No, I didn't want to get them platinum so quickly. Dang it.
Well, anyways. And then last little standout is, I'm going to say pistols. I haven't noticed a particular type of pistol. I haven't used any yet, but I've died to a pistol in 3 bullets up close. Quickly. More often than I expected to in this game. Pistols are quite good up close. So yeah, and there is a pistol that is a 3-hit kill and is just like a semi-auto pistol.
I think there's actually, yeah, like the revolver or something multiple. Also one shots to the head, I believe.
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot too. Yeah,
and I think it's a revolver in this game. Yeah, the Core 45 is the only one I've used. It's a treat to use a pistol in this game, though. It's got a really high fire rate. It's extremely accurate. It's like a 3 or 4 shot kill. I think if you get a headshot within a certain distance, 1 headshot and 2 body shots, I think it really is a 3-shot kill. So like you're killing.
I for sure died in 3 bullets.
Like you're actually filling. Yeah. You're actually killing faster than ARs and SMGs will at that range if you hit your shots. Of course, it's hard to use because it's a pistol, but it's so fun. One of the most fun guns I've used. So I was kind of like dreading that, like coming off the knives, going into the pistols. But boy, this first one's an absolute treat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenges are simple. It's like ADS kills while moving. It's like, really? Okay. God,
do you think you'll go to hardcore for any of the camos? For pistols?
I haven't looked really at like Priceless or like the further ones yet, but probably for some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today's episode's brought to you by us. This is our ad for our own Patreon. And if you've been considering joining the Patreon, as we've been saying the past few weeks, now is the best time with the release of MWIII. Tanner and I have been sinking our teeth into it a lot, and we have a lot to say. Join at the gold tier for just $5 a month for early access and ad-free public episodes, 3 COD-related bonus episodes every month, and every bonus episode we've ever recorded in the past as well. And then you also get an exclusive patron-only Discord channel. Our first bonus episode this month, you will hear, in fact, on Saturday, is a multiplayer brainstorm. Tanner and I talked for about 2 hours about some of the weapons, some kind of random multiplayer observations we've made, and then a real deep dive into what the best perk combo is with respect to vests, what they give you, what they take away, etc. It was super productive. We even came up with new ideas, and that is available for our patrons right now, and for the rest of you, it's going to go public as a little preview app on Saturday. Or Saturday already happened when you're hearing this ad. That's possible as well. And the next bonus episode we have planned is a preliminary MW3 camo grind tips and tricks episode. We've gotten well into a lot of the camos. We've done a lot of them already. Not totally done yet. We'll probably end up doing 2 of these episodes, but we're going to start with 1 because we're probably ahead of quite a few of you, or at least we've learned different things than you have. If you wanted even more content, Platinum for $10 a month gets everything from gold, plus a Q&A, bonus episode, and then Damascus gets all that, plus at $20 a month, a behind the scenes episode, and a monthly hangout. It's a lot of fun. If you hated hearing this ad, join the Patreon. You'll never hear an ad again. Ours or, third parties or whatever. So figure it out. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Let's get back to the show. Anyway. All right. So now we're going to get into perks. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about perks. I think we've spent like 2 full episodes already kind of talking about the perks in this game. So we're not really going to go through each perk individually. Again, we've done that. But we are going to go through, I think, each category and again, talk about some standouts. I think that's kind of how we should do this. And we're going to start with the vests. So the vest is by far the most important category, and it's where you should... Whoa, what's going on here?
You have to start with a vest, yeah.
It's where you should start your... it's basically where you start your entire custom class. Maybe even before your weapon is like the vest. Well, I guess you pick the weapon first, the primary, and then what vest you want to run with it. So one thing to keep in mind with the vests is, unlike the other perk categories, gloves, boots, and gear, the vests will dictate what other perks you can run or not run, what other tacticals and lethals you can run or not run, and even what other field upgrades you can run or not run. So gloves do not have this consideration, or do boots or gear. But when you're picking a vest, you can't look at just what the vest does. You can do that for every other perk, but I would say more importantly for the vests than what perk it gives you is what other things it gives you or doesn't give you. So, for example, if you run the gunner vest, you can't run boots anymore. Or if you run the CCT comms vest, you can run 2 pieces of gear rather than just 1. That's what we mean by that. And that's why it's interesting looking at vests. And that's why these websites were pissing me off, because they all said, oh yeah, here are the 6 vests and here's what they do. But they didn't tell you, you also lose field upgrade and tacticals and lethals if you run it. It's like, okay, that's probably more important than what the vest itself does.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep that in mind and make sure you're paying attention to that. And again, you can check our Discord multiplayer general pinned message for a list for pictures of all the vests and what they do. So standout vests for me. The standouts for me, the engineer vest is one standout. This is where you spot enemy equipment, field upgrades, and streaks through walls. The only reason this is a standout is if you are doing the launcher camo. I recommend you don't do the launcher camo, but if you're going to, you should definitely be running engineer vest to see claymores and prox mines so that you can kill them for that particular challenge. Besides that, it is not worth running. You lose your lethal, but you do get 2 pieces of gear, gloves, boots, and 2 tacticals, which is kind of interesting. But I don't think it's worth running.
That's weird. I actually think this one is good just because it's one of the few that gives you 2 pieces of gear. I think automatically anything with 2 gear slots is going to be good.
That's true, but I think there are just better vests that give you... Well, I think there's a better vest that gives you 2 pieces of gear, I should say. Well, interesting. You know what? You're kind of right.
Yeah.
Engineer vest lets you run 2 pieces of gear and gloves and boots. And 2 pieces of gear is really good, which we'll get into. But it also lets you run 2 tacticals. And if you ran the other vest that gives you 2 pieces of gear, you run no tacticals. And normally that wouldn't be a big deal. But with the slow health regen in this game and no quick fix, having 2 tacticals, which is to say 2 stims, does sound really nice. So this is exactly what I was talking about. Literally everything the engineer vest does, I don't care about. If it did nothing, but it gave me 2 pieces of gear and 2 tacticals, I would run it for only that reason. It actually doesn't matter what the vest does. That's why reading what the vests do doesn't matter. What matters is it gives me 2 stims and 2 pieces of gear and gloves and boots. That actually is really good. So that is a standout vest. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I guess it's nice to see enemy field upgrades and stuff through walls. One thing I have noticed when I've ran this perk in past games for launcher camos is you'll just see a muni appear out of nowhere like behind two walls.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's a guy there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's actually kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you see munis all the time when using it. I've used this vest a decent amount, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't work for launcher challenges, unfortunately. But yeah, I just think it's good because you run 2 pieces of gear. I've ran this vest a little bit actually, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Let's see. Gunner vest is nice, but you lose boots, and I just don't think that's worth it.
You lose boots, and then you're also forced to run 2 primaries, which I don't want to do when I'm camo grinding. I want to just get the secondaries done while I'm doing that. So that's just like an instant no for me, because the fact I'm forced to run a primary.
Yeah, you can't run a secondary with this, huh?
Correct.
It's only primaries.
Which, yeah, so this is another interesting example, because the gunner vest by itself is actually good. You start with extra ammo, and then you also get good reload speed, so you don't have to run mag holster for a gear slot. But yeah, losing boots, the boots are pretty dang good. So that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. I don't think this vest is worth running.
Yeah, because boots are very good. That's where you can get covert sneakers to move silently, which is really good, obviously. Or you can run tactical pads, which are also very good. Dropshot faster, snake faster, you controller users, and ADS while sliding. It's kind of nice too. And I guess you get improved slide velocity rather than distance now. That particular portion I don't notice, but the other things are very good. And even just to drop shot faster, it's kind of nice.
I was testing that yesterday. I was going through using all these for a little bit. When you swap off something for a little while and come back to it, it's a big difference. And then also, there have been a couple times where some guy is like pushing at me. We're in a close range gunfight. He slides, and I'm just like, you cannot track the guy because his slide is so fast. And like looking back at it, that guy must have been running those pads. So I think that is probably more valuable than what we think. So that would be interesting to see someone test from the perspective of someone looking at them, how your character model looks running the stalker pads versus not running them. Yeah. Anyways, gunner vest for me, it's a no-go personally, and it's pretty much just because the 2 primaries. I could deal with the no boots, I guess, if I'm just playing it to like camo grind primarily, but I don't want 2 primaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like even
demolition vest is shit.
Competitive and stuff, no one's gonna run it because no boots.
Right.
Demolition vest, yeah.
Shit.
Just it doesn't exist. Yeah, that one doesn't exist.
Yeah, CCT comms vest is another really good one. We talked about this recently. It's the one where your minimap zooms out and enemies drop a little scavenger bag that gives you a little, like, 1 UAV sweep on that location. That's quite nice. And also, you get 2 pieces of gear with this as well. The big downside for me is you lose your lethal, and you also lose your tactical. I don't care that much about losing a lethal. I'd rather have one, obviously rather. But not having a stim is like very frustrating to me. This is a solid vest if you don't care that much about not having a stim. But I do. So, yeah. I would say this is probably the best vest if you don't mind not having a stim.
Yeah, see, I've already gotten used to the health regen. I like don't think about it that much. It's like if I get hit and I'm one shot or something, I kind of just lay down for a second, get behind a piece of cover, reload. By the time you're finishing that, you're regenning like a second later. So yeah, I don't really think about it. I also do wonder how many people run stims, because I feel like nobody is running them right now.
Part of that's probably the armory system, but yes, no, I don't notice people running it at all.
Yeah.
But I on the topic of stims, since I am running them, I have gotten a not that surprising number of kills where I will be in a gunfight with someone, or like I'll kill a guy and then another guy will start shooting me, and maybe I'm like one shot and he knows it because he landed a bullet or 2 on me. And I run away to like get behind cover and regen, he thinks. What I actually do is as soon as I'm running away, I bang the stim and then I turn around, standing man, waiting for him. He thinks I'm one shot. I'm full health, destroyed. Because I'm just waiting for him to turn the corner, and he doesn't have the health advantage he thought I did. That happens a lot in this game. People will chase you if you're weak, and they know it. Pretty much every time, in my experience, I will get chased if I like am one shot and run away, and they know it.
Yeah.
And with stims, I like win those automatically because they just think they don't. They think they just auto win this, and they don't. It's really good. It's really good for that reason. And also in this game, so in past games with stims, if an enemy stimmed, you would get an icon on your screen. That doesn't happen in this game. So they don't know I stimmed. So they don't know I'm full health. But in other games they would. But yeah, that doesn't happen in this game. So it's very good. But yeah, that's up to you, obviously. And then the last standout, this is what I've been running. Overkill Vest. Increase weapon swap speed and reload while sprinting. Okay. And then also you get 1 gear, 1 glove, 1 boots, 1 tactical, 1 lethal. You lose your field upgrade. This is the best thing to lose.
Yeah.
I don't care about losing a field upgrade. So what I'm really losing is 2 gear slots. I only get 1 instead of 2. That sucks, but we get a lot out of this vest. I still get to keep my stim. I still get at least 1 of all my perks. I don't care about losing a field upgrade. And I can run a primary or secondary in both slots. So what I've been doing, because I'm super toxic, is I've been running the Overkill Vest with a stim, with a riot shield on my back, and a primary in my front, and the Gaia skin.
Nice.
And my riot shield is Orion, by the way.
Very cool.
Maximum.
You're
toxicity.
Actually miserable. You really are. Like it's actually embarrassing to queue with him when he's doing this. It's so always annoying.
Yeah. And one thing that's nice about the Overkill Vest, unlike the Engineer Vest, for example, which I might want to run despite what it gives me, I actually like what the Overkill Vest gives me. Increased weapon swap speed. For me, it doesn't matter because I'm not ever swapping to my riot shield, but if you're using any other gun, it's nice to have increased weapon swap speed. But reload while sprinting is really cool. So we talked about this in the beta, and I was using reload while sprinting via gloves, the commando gloves, I think they're called, rather than the Overkill Vest. But the benefit, it works the same way. And I had said it's kind of shit. The commando gloves kind of aren't worth using because you do get to reload while sprinting, but you're not sprinting at normal speed. You're like sprinting slower than a normal sprint. You're somewhere between walking and regular sprinting. Somewhere in the middle of that speed is the speed you will be at if you reload while sprinting with an Overkill Vest or commando gloves. So kind of like not worth it for that reason. Sure. However, one thing I've learned lately, in addition to reload while sprinting, you can also reload while sliding and reload while diving. That is a huge deal, unlike the reload while sprinting. It should say that it does this, but it doesn't. But I've tested it. Without commando gloves or Overkill Vest, you cannot reload while sprinting or diving. Or maybe you can if you do. There are more limitations without this perk. I don't know what they are. I don't remember. But in this, you can, at any time, you press reload and you'll be reloading.
Yeah, it doesn't so basically nothing cancels it other than like mantling on something. That's how it is.
Or weapon swapping, right? Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like, so
and
you
that
can
is super clutch.
Like you can start the reload and immediately dive after and it continues to reload. Whereas I think with any other gloves, well, I'm certain if you start a reload and then dive, it's going to cancel it. I think you can maybe start a dive and towards the end of it, you can start a reload without these. Maybe not.
Pretty
Maybe
sure
maybe you have to wait till it ends. I don't know. So I was wondering about the sliding thing though, that you talked about. Cause I was trying to figure this out yesterday. I'm wondering if that is not actually technically a benefit of the gloves, but if it's just more related to the setting where it's like sprint cancels reload. Because I'm thinking, so the gloves essentially override that, right? Because I'm wondering if you don't have sprint cancels reload on, if you can still reload and then start sprinting in this game. Because I wouldn't know because I use the sprint cancels reload. So that may be possible without that setting anyways. Because I was kind of thinking that maybe that's why the gloves do not say that, because technically you can reload while moving. And no, I guess you wouldn't be able to reload. No,
Yeah,
I don't think
you can.
That was just a thought that I had yesterday. I was like, well, it could just be tied to the sprint cancels reload, which I've used in COD always, so I don't know what it's like without it.
Yeah, I don't think so though. Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't put that in there then, because that's like insane.
Yeah, well,
that it works for the slide and the dive too, but
so anyway, that's what the reload while sprinting is the least interesting feature of that perk. The big thing is to reload while diving or sliding. It saves you a ton of time. And in fact, it saves me so much time that I am fine not running mag holster for increased reload speed. That's like, so I can still run EOD padding or ghost if I wanted to do that, or tactical mask, which probably isn't worth it. We'll get into it. But you save a lot of time being able to reload while sliding and diving, because you're going to be doing that a lot, or you should be doing that a lot. You know, if you're in like a sketchy situation and you need to get out, like normally without this, I would have to dive behind cover and then start my reload again. And in that case, I really kind of do need mag holster, because otherwise he's going to push me and I'm going to still be reloading and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But if I'm still reloading during the dive, I'll be done with it by the time the dive's over. It's super good. It's super, super good. And I really enjoy it. So don't sleep on the overkill vest or the commando gloves, I would say. But the overkill vest is what I've been using, again, because I get to run a stim and I get to have one of each perk, and it allows me to not run mag holster. And if I had two pieces of gear, I would be running mag holster as my second piece of gear, so I don't lose anything. I kind of get everything I want, basically. So I think this has been my go-to vest.
Cool. Didn't they say that perks work in the firing range now? Well, I know they said that, actually. They said that on the blog post. They don't work. Because I was trying to like test what I was just saying, and I was going to like turn off sprint cancels reload and try to like slide and see what happened without these gloves on. And I was testing it to start with the gloves on, and it cancels the reload every time, which it doesn't in game. So cool. They lied to us again. Yeah. Got it. So don't go in the firing range to test certain perks, because that does not work. Awesome. Yeah. Anyways,
not surprising. Yeah.
So
anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let me kind of just go through what I had for my setup here. So I've been running the comms vest, the CCT comms vest, which, that's the one you kill someone, you get an intel pack. So the best part about this vest actually is not even the zoomed out minimap necessarily. It's the fact that when you kill someone and run over their body, drops a scavenger bag, which is a sweep. So that radar sweep, by the way, is a lot bigger than I had originally said. I had said like 10, 15 meters. It probably goes out all directions like 25 meters or so. On small maps, it is a huge area. You really, really notice it. And then my mini map's also zoomed out, so it appears to be even smaller than it actually is, because I don't have a normal mini map when I run this. It's already expanded, right, and it's still huge. True. So the range on it is very, very big. Like, this will give you so much intel in sixes. If you're playing like hardpoint, Dom, I mean, you know where people are that are running like covert sneakers or something, for example. You'll get a sweep immediately, and you just gather so much intel from it. It keeps you alive longer. You can start pre-firing. It gets you kills. It is so goated just because of that alone. Like, so much intel. So we've been playing mostly war. Honestly, this probably doesn't make sense for me to run in war, and I should probably swap to like overkill or something else, or figure out a different setup. Because war, it's very, you know where they're going to be. They're not going to start suddenly spawning behind you. They're going to be in front of me, right? But in like 6s, where especially in a game where the spawns are as bad as they are on launch, you just gather so much intel from this that it's such a good vest. So I think it is worth the trade-off of not having a tactical and lethal, honestly. Sure, you get a lot of kills with frags, but honestly, the spam is bad enough. I don't want to continue to contribute to the awful spam in this game. And I've gotten used to it, so I'm totally fine without it. So I've been running that with the commando gloves. I hadn't really experimented with gloves until yesterday. I was just actually still using quick grip because I hadn't thought about it ever. And then when I took them off, I realized since I was always using a knife and pistol, swapping from your primary to secondary is definitely no faster with those gloves on. But it is...
I believe that.
Those gloves are a little bit faster swapping from a pistol or a knife back to your AR, but it's not that noticeable at all. Like, hardly noticeable.
And that's just not super relevant most of the time anyway.
Correct.
In multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I experimented with the commando gloves and then the assault gloves as well. And I'm on the commando gloves, which is the reload while sprinting. Yeah, as Raz already explained. None of the gloves are great, honestly. They're not like game-changing. But it's just a nice little feature to just always be able to keep moving while you reload. You don't like tac sprint. You're not sprinting super fast when you reload, but you're still moving faster and not having to essentially... When you reload without them, you pretty much have to just stop moving. You have to just stop moving because if you move while you're reloading without the gloves, you barely move. I mean, you're walking basically. So essentially like you have to change your whole... gameplay, get back in a corner or something behind a piece of cover, crouch behind something while you're reloading, whereas this, you just get to keep moving. Kill somebody, keep moving straight ahead while I'm reloading and running. So it's nice to have that.
Yeah. And again, or while sliding or diving.
Yeah. And so I tried the assault gloves, which we didn't really talk about. Did you try those yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so I tried all the gloves yesterday. And the assault gloves, I don't understand them, I guess. So this game, just like MW2, if you jump an ADS, there is a slight delay. In MW2, it was much worse. In this game, from beta to launch, they decreased that delay by quite a bit. So your ADS is slower while jumping, but it's not that much of a difference. Like MW2, I feel like it was actually like 50 to 60 milliseconds. This game, it feels like it's like 10 to 20 or something. And this game already has a lot faster base ADS speed. So those assault gloves, you jump in ADS, it doesn't make it faster than you would otherwise ADS. It just removes that delay. So you ADS the same speed as you do normally while jumping. So that's benefit one. And then the other one, as it says in game, it says, well, jumping accuracy and time to ADS is improved. So I was thinking, well, what does accuracy mean? Because the game doesn't have bloom. I was like, maybe it like reticle sway or something like that while jumping. So I was like in the back of the map on war, running around, jumping, testing this. I was like, okay, maybe there's just essentially less sway on your optic, your dot, your irons when jumping. No. Literally all it is accuracy is defined in this game as like hip fire accuracy. So when you jump, your hip fire spread does not become wider. It just keeps it at the same. So if you build a hip fire SMG that's really, really good, think of like an MWIII MP5 that has really good hip fire. If you were using the assault gloves, you could jump and that hip fire spread does not change. It stays super small, which is really good for a gun like that, for like a hip fire build. But
and even
on like an AR build where you're ADSing, this is giving you actually no benefit. You're getting nothing. So all you're using these gloves just to remove like a 10 to 15 millisecond delay with jumping while ADSing. They're just not worth running at all, in my opinion.
I would say it can be good for even ARs if someone's up close to you, because you're usually going to start shooting while you're ADSing. So you're probably going to fire 1 to 2 bullets.
Yeah, that's possible.
That hip fire to ADS transition spread. And with the assault gloves, that spread is way tighter in that window. So you're way more likely to land those first 1 or 2 bullets mid ADS that you probably otherwise wouldn't, because the bloom expands when you jump without the gloves. So I think it could benefit you outside of SMGs if the enemy's close to you. Technically, if they're far away too, but you'd have to get a very lucky hip fire shot at like 40 meters. It's possible, but like it's probably not going to be relevant. But up close, it actually might be relevant. But it's not like a huge deal.
Yeah, no. Like
sure.
I don't even know the last time I shot somebody up close hip fire with an AR. Because also, like, I've been running a knife and pistols, and footsteps are often pretty loud in this game. And then red dots on minimaps. So many things contribute now to seeing more people on the minimaps. You can expect more people coming at you. So I think you get caught off guard far less often in this game. That's been my experience, at least. Also, because I run the comms vest, so if I kill somebody, run over their body, I have intel. Oh, there's a guy pushing in the building. I'm already pre-aiming. I don't have to hip fire. So I don't find myself ever doing that. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's fair.
So I guess I kind of misspoke there. Basically, assault gloves are not going to be good on like an AR, LMG, anything like that. But if you can build an SMG to have really good hip fire in this game, which I haven't seen yet, or shotguns, these would be the gloves to run for those specific classes. Because if you can jump around a corner with a shotgun and your spread doesn't increase, that is insane. So the gloves are very good for one specific class, which is shotgun, and then also SMGs that you have set up for hipfire. I guess even not hipfire builds, those will still benefit because SMGs have a decent enough hip spread without building it for hipfire. But shotguns for sure, where you're like never ADSing, these will be goated for. So when I go to shotguns, I'll definitely be using these. But like for most classes, I would say commando gloves is just going to be the best one.
Yeah, you're right. You might have changed my vest pick, actually.
Your vest?
Maybe.
Have you ran the comms vest yet?
I have. Yeah, so by the way, I wanted to point out for the comms vest.
I'll grab some water.
And enemies you kill drop intel packs, which generate a radar ping for you and nearby allies when collected. That's another thing to keep in mind too, is you can be getting all the benefits of comms vest. Well, not all of them, but you can be getting all of the benefits of that particular aspect of it without running it yourself if your teammate's running it and you're close to them. You may have noticed this in sixes if you're not running this, where your minimap will randomly zoom out and you don't know why. It's because you got close to someone running this perk. And when they pick up and get the radar sweep, you also get it, even if you're not running the perk. So that makes that even better because you're giving all that intel to your teammates also. Just something to keep in mind there. But yeah, the thing with the gloves is that, yeah, assault gloves aren't great, but also none of the gloves are very good. So you're not losing much by running assault gloves. Like increase weapon swap speed, don't really care. Throw equipment further, super don't care. Reload while sprinting, that's a good pair of gloves. Scav gloves, reloads ammo, resupply ammo, super don't care. Marksman gloves, reduce sway and flinch while ADS. You know what? I've never tried these. And maybe these are worth using because reduce sway, it's probably true in this game because it was true in MWIII. You would have idle sway, but the idle sway would continue while you're shooting in addition to your recoil. So lowering your idle sway would also effectively lower your recoil while shooting, since the sway continues while you're shooting. So marksman gloves reduce sway while ADS is if it works that way, which it probably does in this game, effectively means, depending on how much weapon sway your gun has less recoil, period. While ADS'd, which is going to be most of the time. I'm actually going to try these. This is what I mean by the brainstorm. This didn't occur to me until just now. I'm going to try these on some of my guns, particularly those that have a lot of idle sway. This might effectively lower my recoil a lot on guns that have a lot of idle sway. Might be worth using for that reason. And then reduced flinch. I don't know how much it reduces flinch. I haven't tried them. I actually want to try these though. These could potentially be pretty good. So that's another thing. Yeah. And then the last one is assault gloves. While jumping accuracy and time to ADS is improved.
Yeah, like marksman gloves, you're definitely technically going to get increased recoil control from less sway, but like Sway does play into the recoil, but it's not like that much. Like I don't think you're never gonna be in a gunfight and like notice you won that gunfight only because you had marksman gloves on. Like ever.
Of course.
Like that's not going to happen. Which like if it's not something you can directly obviously feel, like in my opinion, usually that's probably not worth running. Because if you can't tell a difference, then why are you even running it at that point, you know? But like for snipers specifically, these will probably end up being very good, yeah. Unfortunately as well, the guns do have too much idle sway in this game. It's exactly the same as MW2. I had hoped with all the other things they were doing, you know, kind of claiming they were bringing back, like, I don't know, classic COD. I actually don't remember if the old CODs had that much sway. COD 4 certainly didn't have that much. Well,
yeah, the trick would be to just build your gun, go to the firing range and ADS, see how much you're swaying. If it's not that much, these aren't worth it. If it's like a ton on like an LMG, then maybe run marksman.
Yeah, that
gloves.
does depend too. If it's like, if it decreases sway by like 75% or something, then maybe these would be worth running just for that like initial shot as well. If someone's on a heady, you can get that first shot easier, but
yeah. But the vest thing I was saying, I've been running overkill vest because I want to have a tactical and I want reload while sprinting. But since all the gloves are kind of poop, pending testing marksman gloves, I'm probably going to want to run the engineer vest. I'll get 2 stims and then I'll get an extra gear slot that I can use mag holster on, and I can run commando gloves for reload while sprinting. That's probably going to be better for me. I'm probably going to switch to that. That's what I meant. I didn't realize I could just run commando gloves and then get reload while sprinting, and then I'll get not only the stim I want, but 2 of them.
Yeah.
That would be actually really nice. I think that is going to be my new play, actually. Yeah. Because the gloves just aren't that good. So we'll test marksman gloves. If you guys have used them and noticed this, I doubt many people have thought of this.
I haven't even unlocked these ones
until
because I haven't even thought about it.
That's another thing too.
I don't need to unlock these ones. These are going to be horrible.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You end up needing them for snipers though, so that's kind of why I was like, I have time before I get to snipers. I'll unlock other things first.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, like every game, your create a class, your perks are going to depend, number 1, on what guns you're using, and number 2, on what game modes you're playing. So like, I wouldn't recommend, you know, the CCT comms vest for ground war sniping, you know, like,
yeah, definitely
it's not going to be good for that. But I might recommend it for like hardpoint, like Tanner was saying. Yeah. So anyway, moving on to the boots. So this is the category lightweight boots. I said this in the beta. I haven't tried them since, but you move faster. You don't move much faster. At least I didn't feel like I did in the beta. I didn't do a side-by-side comparison or anything, but it doesn't feel super noticeable like lightweight did in Vanguard. Maybe it is exactly the same movement speed increase, which was about like 5.3%. Ace tested it. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it was very noticeable in that game. Doesn't feel as noticeable in this game, but I could be bugging. You tried them again recently, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's not a huge difference, but it's faster. I mean, having increased movement speed and respawn COD is always going to be good, but I think they're probably just a better option or 2 in this category. But they're solid. Yeah. If people run them, I totally get it.
Yeah. And then there are some other shit boots that we're not going to talk about. Climbing boots, running sneakers, don't care. Tactical pads, again, we've talked about this a lot. Increased slide, they haven't updated the description yet. No, increases slide distance, it doesn't do that. Increases slide velocity and allows for ADS while sliding, increased stance transition speed. So yeah, these are really good. I would say run these if you don't care about covert sneakers, which is eliminate footsteps sound. Those are basically the 2 boots as far as I'm concerned. The one thing that I do want to test more is stalker boots. Increase strafe and ADS movement speed. I'm a big fan of ADS strafe speed in COD games, and with the slower TTK, faster strafe speed gets better because you're making people maybe miss a bullet or 2, And in a game where you need to land more bullets to kill, that becomes more relevant and it increases your odds of winning a gunfight by more. So that's pretty solid potentially, depending on how much it does. But like I could see building a crazy ADS strafe speed SMG with all the ADS strafe attachments and then slapping these on and then actually ADS circling around people up close. With this game's movement speed, and with how potentially crazy you could get with ADS strafe speed, these could be like really fun to use at least. Would it be worth it? It's hard for me to justify not running covert sneakers or tactical pads. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It might be worth it. I just don't see it unless the benefit is insane, which when I use it in the beta, it was not insane. It was not even really noticeable to me. So I think these are just a no based on the magnitude, honestly. It's really just tactical pads or covert sneakers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to go back here to mention the running sneakers. So these are actually really, really good right now with tac sprint the way it is. Because getting that longer tac sprint duration and refreshing it quicker is extremely noticeable. So they say a fix is in the work and it's already planned for a future update. That update doesn't come out for like a week or two. These are probably actually worth running right now because they really do help a ton. It is so noticeable. And then, who knows? They may bait us again. They may change the tac sprint duration issue with sliding right now. And it may not be what it was in the beta. And if it's worse than that, then running sneakers may end up coming into play actually as one of the options that you'd want to run. Because yeah, if this was beta gameplay still, running sneakers, you don't ever need those at all. At least on the small maps. For something like Ground War, it makes sense just to be able to sprint more often. It would make a lot of sense in Warzone as well.
For sure in Warzone.
In the current game, if they fix the tac sprint issue, yeah, I don't see a reason to run these in 6s. I'll talk about tactical pads last because that's what I run. Yeah, Stalker boots. I used them yesterday. I tried them.
Oh.
It was noticeable, but so I was using it on the MTZ class that I had set up, which again, I don't put 5 attachments on any gun. I had an optic on it and a stock that increases ADS movement, so it was already quick, and it increased it a good amount more. It did feel really good. So I think if you have an SMG setup with really good mobility and really good ADS speed, if you combine that with Stalker boots, it's probably actually going to feel so fast, it's going to almost feel like you're jogging while using an SMG. So I think they could end up being really good for that, yeah. But for the most part, I don't think they're that great on most classes.
You know what I will say, though, actually? Another thing I would actually use Stalker boots on, whether they were good or not, as long as they did something, is a sniper.
I was about to say that as you started talking. Yeah, I figured you were going to say sniper. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you can be like behind cover, you strafe out faster to get your shot, and then strafe back into cover faster, too.
Yeah, because actually,
what else? A lot of sniping is.
These, yeah, you're right. 100% the best boots for sniping would be Stalker boots. Because none of the other one would even really give you benefit. Tac pads doesn't matter. You're not sliding and ADSing and shooting. Usually. You can, but not usually. Yeah, none of them matter outside of that. So that is a good point. If you're sniping, Stalker boots make a ton of sense. The most sense.
Yeah.
Covert sneakers.
Thing that does.
I mean, there's nothing to say. They're dead silence. They're good. I haven't ran them yet. I did a little bit when I played like one match of Cutthroat because everyone was running them. So they're good. I just feel like if you run covert sneakers, you also kind of have to change your loadout and like run a suppressor as well.
Exactly.
Things like that. It combines well with Ghost. If you're going to do that, just do the whole rat move and also run Ghost and then run a suppressor. Yeah. If you're like,
I agree.
If you're loud and then also running covert sneakers, it doesn't make that much sense to me. So run a suppressor, run covert sneakers. That's always going to be good. Believe me, it's very annoying dying to people, not ever hearing anything. Super annoying.
But yeah, you're right. With how many ways there are to appear on the minimap in this game, UAV, shooting unsilenced, the comms vest, that someone on the other team is likely running in 6s. Or just the gear slot that gives you that comms vest particular benefit with the minimap and the little intel packs. There are so many ways to appear on the enemy minimap that covert sneakers, you will get kills sneaking up on people if you're only running those. You're not running a silencer or a ghost. But it's just going to happen not nearly as often if people are paying attention to their minimaps in your lobby, because they're going to see your red dot or whatever. So with covert sneakers, I do kind of agree. You kind of have to run the whole package, or at least also a silencer. I think you can get away with not running ghosts because they're not going to always have UAV up or an intel pack. So you can get a lot of sneaky kills, I think, with covert sneakers plus a silencer and not running ghost. I still think you'll get a lot of sneaky kills with that combo.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would ever run covert sneakers without at least a silencer also. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is a downside.
Yeah. And then obviously too, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory, should be common sense, but don't use covert sneakers on Wasteland. It doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah, of course.
They're very map specific. Even like a map like High Rise, for example, you kind of just spawn in and start running. Don't use covert sneakers on that map. Use it for maps like
Skid Row.
Skid Row is a great one. Favela, where there's so many little rooms and places you can jump in and routes you can take. Good for maps like that. Yeah,
with some verticality. Yeah.
Sure. So then the last one, this is what I run, tactical pads. Yeah, increase slide velocity, stance transition speeds, blah, blah. So going from like prone to standing doesn't feel that much faster, honestly. You more notice it, I think, going from crouch to prone, which I now do a lot because of this. So I'll like constantly, again, we play a lot of war mode. So it's like I'll spawn in, I'll run. I know some guys into like be pushing around this angle in half a second. I'll crouch. As soon as he comes around, I start shooting, and I usually like immediately drop shot and go prone from there. So it helps for that a lot. It's quick. And then going from prone back to crouch also very fast. But yeah, straight from standing to prone, to me, isn't that much of a difference. And then also, I don't know if this has any effect on dolphin diving. It certainly does not seem like it, which is very unfortunate.
Good question.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
I don't think it does, because I was hoping it would. I'm like, oh, if this helps with the speed of standing up after a dolphin dive, that would be great. But it does not feel that way. That's what I mean. Yeah, like standing up after you complete the dive doesn't feel like it.
It probably does, because you're technically prone after the dive, right?
Yeah. So my favorite usage for the tac pads actually is the being able to ADS the whole time while sliding. So I do this all the time now. I'll start sliding around a corner, and because you can ADS immediately and the whole time, I'll so often let the slide basically complete and not even cancel it. Obviously, I do cancel it a lot too. It totally depends on the situation I'm in. But being able to immediately ADS instead of being forced into the horrible tac stance, and then keep that the whole way through, and then also cancel it whenever I want while remaining in ADS, that is by far the most important part for me. So like these, I've already gotten so used to it, I don't want to run anything else. I think it's just so good in all situations, because in this game, you slide all the time. All the time. It's like every single gunfight I'm in, pretty much heads up gunfight, I'm sliding at least once during it. So being able to keep that ADS during it, I think is extremely important. So those are far and away my favorite right now.
Yeah. And then last section is gear. So this is the perk slot with the most options. And also you can potentially run 2 on a class, which is not true for gloves or boots.
Yeah.
So, or vests. So yeah. Again, we're not going to talk about everything, but we'll talk about some standouts.
Most of them are bad anyways. Yeah. There's a lot in the category.
One is Ghost. While moving, blocks detection by UAVs, enemy radar sources, and heartbeat sensors. Really, the only thing that's going to be relevant is UAV and probably the intel packs. I would assume Ghost keeps you off the intel pack things by enemies running the comms vest that we were talking about. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I would expect. Also, if you look at your mini map and you look at your own triangle, it does work the way it has in the past, where you can tell if you're off radar or not, because your triangle will become transparent if you are moving. And then if you stop moving, it will become solid, as in, even though you're running ghost camo, you're currently liable to be on the minimap. So you can check how it works and the timings and stuff like that. I haven't paid super close attention to that when I'm running this, but I did pay enough attention to notice that you do become transparent, which is nice, so you can test it for yourself. Yeah, it's just not nearly as good because you have to be moving. But again, this depends on the game mode. I think Ghost, for example, is way better in like TDM or Kill Confirmed than it is on Hardpoint. Because in Hardpoint, especially if you're trying to get your Armory unlock tokens and no one on your team wants to win except you, which happens to me all the time, a lot of times I'm not moving because I'm on the Hardpoint and I can't be. So if I'm running Ghost, it's just a wasted perk in that case, because I'm prone in a corner on the point trying to win the game to unlock a perk. Sick system, by the way. So yeah, but if I were playing TDM, I would probably just always be moving to some degree or another. You stop on a head glitch once in a while, but it would be really good for that reason. But again, it's another thing where like I'm never running Ghost without a silencer. So again, kind of the package deal situation. I'd probably run it without covert sneakers, depending on if I'm like not using an SMG or shotgun. Because if I have to be up close to get kills, I probably need to be quiet, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm using like an AR, I could run Ghost and a silenced AR. And I think you get a lot of benefit out of that, even without covert sneakers. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's pretty good. It does what it says it does. Very dependent on play style and map /match.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cold-blooded EOD padding. So EOD padding is really good. It is bugged right now, and it's not as good as it's going to be, because I guess it doesn't work against frags, which is insane. It
certainly works against some things, because I'm not exaggerating. I've shot a guy's like feet before and around him with the grenade launcher, and you'll get the EOD icon, and I've gotten 5 hit markers on somebody. So that's close enough to do damage to him. 5 hit markers. I don't even understand how that's possible. So, but yeah, it seems to not work against frags whatsoever. Like you just always get one shot to frags.
But it's going to in the future.
It's going to be good.
Frags, and frags are very common. So yeah, EOD padding is super good, or it will be, especially right now. I expect this to get less good as people start unlocking perks and not using lethals as much in the future anymore, or maybe using throwing knives instead or something. But right now it's insanely good, obviously.
And then once they fix it too, people will just stop running frags because they won't get as many kills with it, because then everyone will be running EOD, and then people will stop running frags, and then they'll be gone forever.
Yeah.
That's the cycle, hopefully.
All the cat and mouse we always talk about, Tac mask. So stuns are really strong in this game. Flashes are also really strong in this game. Tac mask is a gear perk. Reduced strength of enemy flash, stun, and gas grenades. Immune to shock, EMP, and snapshot grenades. The second sentence doesn't matter. But immunity or reduced strength of stun grenades mainly is why it would be the only reason you would run this. I tried it, and there's always the question of how well does it work. So stuns are insane in this game. They stun you a lot for a long time, like 2 full seconds probably. With Tac mask, the strength of the stun does not change. You are still at the apex of your stunnedness. With or without Tac mask, you're screwed either way. But Tac mask cuts the time that you are screwed when stunned probably in half.
Yeah.
Is that enough time for me to use a gear slot on it? I think it depends on what mode you're playing, and what vest you're running. Do I have two gear slots or do I just have one? If I just have one gear slot and EOD was working as intended, I'm probably taking EOD over attack mask every time, at least right now. If I have two, honestly, for me, I still don't think it's worth it. I still, I would say half the time I get stunned, I start getting shot at within the window of the stun.
Yeah.
Even with tac mask. I think ultimately it's not worth it, but it will definitely save your life sometimes when you get stunned in those cases where they have to push a little farther than usual, I guess. And you're out of the stun, whereas without tac mask, you wouldn't be. I just don't think that scenario happens enough. I don't think it slows down the stun or speeds up the stun enough to be worth it for me, ultimately. But it is noticeably better. So,
yeah.
What do you think?
So for me, honestly, with EOD being bugged, I just haven't even been running it at all because pretty much everything is a frag grenade. So I'm like, why would I even run it? So EOD and tac mask both, I would kind of not have them set on my class until I realize the other team is using them a lot, so I've done that quite a bit now. If I get stunned 4 times in the first 45 seconds, I'm like, oh, okay. Every single person on their team is running 2 stun grenades, and I'm playing war mode, so they die, respawn 15 feet away, throw another 2. Tac mask is simply on immediately, right? So that's what I do. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you're not going to benefit from it ever unless you're, of course, in a lobby where it's being spammed, which is, yeah, it is a lot right now. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't even ever have it set until I'm getting destroyed by it. Then I'll throw it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, tac mask is strong. Stuns still definitely need a nerf, though. But I think tac mask, honestly, I think tac mask is worth running right now more over EOD just because, yeah, everyone's using frags and it's not helping against that at all.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately. So anyway, next is Comlink. It's just hardline. Don't care. Bone conduction headset reduces combat noise, allowing improved ID of enemy footsteps and gunshots. You know, I haven't used this since the beta. And my experience is, if someone's running covert sneakers, I don't hear them. But if I was running the headset, I wouldn't hear them anyway. And if they are not running the sneakers, and I don't have the headset equipped, I hear them fairly often. So I don't think this is actually worth running. I don't know how many more people I would hear that I otherwise wouldn't by running this headset, to be honest. I'm going to be trying it again because I haven't used it enough to be certain of that. But with some of the other gear slot perks, I don't know if this is doing enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually run it. I think it's super noticeable, honestly.
It is very noticeable. But like I notice immediately when I'm running it and everything does sound better. Mm-hmm. And I hear people more clearly and stuff.
Yeah.
I just wonder if I hear a guy and then kill him because I heard him. I wonder, would I not have heard that guy without the headset? And my answer is usually no. I feel like I would have heard him either way. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I feel like you hear people coming from really far away where like almost so far away that you're like, how do I even hear this guy right now? But like, again, playing war mode, probably don't need to run them, but I've still just had them on. I should probably swap to something else. These, again, make way more sense in 6s. Hardpoint, Dom, whatever, something like that.
Or like Search.
Search, though, everyone's going to be running covert sneakers.
Yeah,
so
yeah, no. You're right. Never mind. Yeah.
Even like hardpoint stuff, some people run them, but like in war mode, I don't encounter covert sneakers ever. Like people don't run them, so that's why it's really handy to have.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I'll test it more, but it's not bad for sure.
Mm-mm.
So mag holster is just improved reload speed. So if you want to reload faster, noticeably faster, by the way. You should run this perk if you're not running Gunner Vest. Now, again,
you have to run this perk, actually. It's not that you can. You have to run it.
Well, here, again, like I said earlier, in my view, you need to run this or Commando Gloves / Overkill Vest. You need to either be able to reload while sprinting and diving and sliding, so you need that perk.
Yeah.
Or you need Mag Holster / Gunner Vest for improved reload speed if you can't do that. Ideally, you run both, which I think is what I'm going to be doing now, since I figured out Engineer Vest. But I think it's kind of like what you said, where you've gotten used to not having stims, so you'll just chill behind cover doing your reload or whatever. Or excuse me, regenning your health. You'll just like chill because you're used to not having stims. I think the same can be said for not having Mag Holster, because I was running Gunner Vest and I felt like I just like had to run it. But if you, especially again, if you have Commando Gloves, you can get used to the slower reload speed if you just like make yourself do it for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but it's really good and it's noticeably faster reload. And this again also depends on the gun you're using. Like I wouldn't run this on an LMG, for example. Like a normal box 100 round mag LMG. It's going to take me 20 minutes to reload or 22 minutes. Like, okay, I might as well just use a different gear slot, because I will die doing a reload unless I'm totally safe, whether or not I have this perk. Like, I just don't think it's going to be that relevant. But, yeah, with like an AR, you know, it's really good to have. So it just depends on what else you're running, I think.
Yeah.
Like all these perks. I don't know. That's my position on it. But yeah.
Yeah, I've like always ran it, yeah. But I haven't gotten to LMG, snipers, things like that. So I'm not sure how much it's needed on something like an LMG. Cause yeah, it kind of, yeah, if the reload speed for the LMG goes from like 8 seconds to 6, it doesn't matter. But if it goes from 8 seconds to 4, 3.5, then I think that's worth running. So I just haven't tested it yet though, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. I think I am going to end up running it though, because I think I'm going to do Engineer Vest, Commando Gloves, and Mag Holster, and another gear slot. Should be nice. So maybe I'll start running Bone Conduction headset or something. I'm excited to try that setup for sure. Yeah, ideally you want both reload while sprinting and faster reload. I've never tried that combo yet.
That's what I've been running. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
Really
that's going to be really nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, tracker, haven't used it in this game. With all the other gear, I don't know if I ever would, to be honest with you. I'm never taking tracker over improved reload speed. Ever. You know? So like, yeah, it's just one of those things where like tracker's not necessarily bad. And I was running it in MWIII for like Warzone on Vondel, for example, because there isn't much else you care about in that category, but this is a different category. So it's like tracker might perform exactly the same, but the cost benefit is different now.
Yeah.
LR detector, again, I don't know how it works. And then, yeah, there's two other ones. Threat. So while ADS automatically ping enemy locations, if you run that, unsubscribe from this podcast. And then data jacker. This one's interesting.
Yeah.
Data jacker. Enemies you kill drop a smartphone. Collecting the smartphone generates a radar ping from that location. I have not tried this yet. But this is, for those of you who've been paying attention, part of the same benefit of the CCT comms vest we've been talking a lot about. Enemies you kill drop intel packs which generate a radar ping for you and nearby allies when collected. I wonder if this also gives you the zoomed out minimap, or if it only gives you the ping.
I doubt it does the zoomed out minimap, yeah.
Okay.
Just the way it describes it, I feel like it would not. Just gets like a piece of gear. I like vest is something that seems like is kind of always working, and then the gear is like add-ons, so it's like I don't consider it in the same category, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Because the description of the vest is 2 lines, and one of the lines is the zoomed out mini map, and then a separate line is exactly what this gear piece does. I think you're right. I think that is a correct description. So you would only get the radar thing. I haven't unlocked it. I just don't think it's worth it when there are tac mask, EOD, and the headset and the mag holster. I think those are really like the 4, and ghost maybe even. I don't think this is ever worth running as a gear slot.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I was trying to think if there's some sort of combination I can do where I could drop comms vest and try running this, so then I can still get like a tactical and lethal, for example. Yeah, I wonder if there's a combination I could do for that. Let's see, what's the other? No, not really. Because I really want the 2 gear slots. So no. I wish I wish gunner vest lets you do primary or secondary like overkill. It would actually be too good though if they did that, maybe.
Is that what you would be running?
Well, I'm just thinking if I could do the CCT or the data jacker, trying to see if that combo would work. Because then you get the reload speed, so you don't have to run mag holster.
You could run engineer vest, and then you could get mag holster data jacker.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. But then what do I still not have with that? Guess I just wouldn't run. Lethal. Couldn't run bone conductor, which I run every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, nothing can do what the comms vest is doing, how I want it to work right now. But it's still very early. This will all change in a week or 2 anyways, so things will get buffed, things will get nerfed. They'll change some things probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, my current class setup has been the overkill vest, but I think I am going to change it to engineer vest. I think I've been converted.
Little engineer,
a primary, a secondary, 2 tacticals, which are going to be stims. I don't know what field upgrade I'm going to run. It doesn't matter. Oh, another PSA I forgot. The thermobaric grenade, not good. And bad also. We were talking about that in a previous bonus episode in October. And we said, based on the description, it might be insane. It's not. It doesn't do that much damage at all. So it's just not very good. It's not worth running. So anyway, yeah. But yeah, I think my setup's going to be engineer vest with stims. I don't know what field upgrade. Probably the little bud, since I play a lot of hardpoint. And then it's going to be commando gloves to reload while sprinting. Oh man, what boots do I want?
Dude, does the little bud...
Tactical pads, probably.
Does the little bud move the tank? I wonder. In war?
If you throw it on the tank.
I wonder if it does.
Dude, that's a good question.
Because I just run MWIII just because. And I do run out of ammo quite a bit. I actually use the MWIII a lot. But I wonder if that would work.
It's a good question.
It would get blown up the first time somebody
It gets blown up or just despawns pretty quick. It's not like that overpowered, but I still think it's nice. I still run it.
It's a cute little bud. It's always nice to have a cute little bud with you.
It's nice having a little bud. But anyway, yeah. So engineer vest, stims, little bud or MWIII probably. Commando gloves, so I reload while sprinting, because that's what I liked about the overkill vest. And sliding and diving. Boots, probably tactical pads, yeah. Tactical pads. And then 2 gear slots. I'm going to try mag holster plus, man. I mean, it's going to be EOD once that works, but probably, yeah, maybe boner conduction headset.
You boned up?
I think engineer vest is also really good if you wanted to be a stealth gamer too, though. Because then you could run covert sneakers. You're giving up tactical pads, but you always have to give those up to run covert sneakers. But then that way you could also run ghost and another gear slot too. So you could run Ghost and EOD, or Ghost and headset, or Ghost and mag holster, which is really nice. So yeah, I think that's going to be my setup, though. I'm not sure on the gear, but I really want to try the Commando gloves mag holster combo. I'm looking forward to doing that.
That's a good one. I think you're going to enjoy it, man.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to set up yet. I just want to continue to try everything. Like we had talked about, like marksman gloves on some of the guns. Because if it like just totally reduces sway, or like gets rid of sway entirely, I don't know. That could end up being really, really good. Plus the flinch. Yeah, I don't know. That could be pretty strong. Especially with the I wonder how it interacts with the hollow point kids too. That's what I was thinking with the flinch. Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah. So that's one piece of homework, is to run marksman gloves. I think we had other homework too. What was it? Do you remember? Let's see. I'm looking.
Well, some of it we're not gonna. Well, I guess if we're doing another one next month, we probably will get to it. Assault gloves with SMGs and shotguns. So basically a hip fire build with assault gloves.
Okay.
That'd be an interesting one. And then one of the boots we had talked about.
Stalker boots, right?
Stalker boots, yeah. Test those some more, and then maybe test that with snipers specifically. Oh, LMGs too, where you move pretty slow. If that gives you like an AR level movement, strafe, that could be pretty good.
True.
Yeah. True. And then gear, I don't know, nothing really. I guess blacklight, flashlight, but yeah, like realistically, am I ever picking that over the other pieces of gear? Probably not. That's tracker again, you guys. So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there's our homework, and your guys' if you want to participate. The biggest thing for me by far is I am very curious how much marksman gloves help with recoil control.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing my camo grind and I notice one of my guns has a lot of idle sway. But another thing too about this, by the way, is there are probably some attachments. There are certainly some attachments that increase your gun recoil control, gun kick control by a lot, but they also increase your ADS sway by a lot. And if you could use those attachments for max gun kick control, and then circumvent the downside of increased idle sway by running marksman gloves. So you basically build your gun for max idle sway if the benefit is gun kick control, and then you come in with marksman gloves to get rid of the idle sway downsides you just got by picking those attachments. Then you just have like a no recoil gun that shouldn't have no recoil. That would be super interesting if those attachments exist, which I know some of them do.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how that's going to work. Yeah. That's what I'm most excited about. So anyway, all right, boys and girls, that's it. So hope you enjoyed this brainstorm. We can, like many times we came up with ideas ourselves on things to try. Yeah, we'll be back next week, and probably a little bit of an abnormal schedule. It's going to be Thanksgiving, but we'll do 2 episodes next week. And then once again for our Patreon, our next bonus episode is going to be probably on a preliminary little camo grind tips ep. We're almost certainly going to do that this month. It might not be the next bonus episode, but it'll be one of the 3, I think, almost certainly. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Patreon.com/Dropshot, best way to support the show. Join the Discord, or see our Twitter at the Dropshot Pod for our schedule for Thanksgiving. Thank you for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Stumble.